The lobby of Gray Industries was built to impress. Marble floors, soaring ceilings, and glass walls that reflected the city skyline. Every employee who worked there knew the golden rule: don't waste the CEO's time. Alexander Gray stepped out of his car and into the building, his polished shoes echoing like a metronome of authority. Tall, broad-shouldered, and impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit, he exuded the kind of power that made people drop their gaze. His jaw was set in its usual hard line. He never smiled, not in meetings, not in photographs, not even in private. As the elevator doors slid open, people waiting nearby instinctively stepped back, letting him in alone. No one dared to intrude on his space. But just before the doors could close, a tiny hand shot out and pressed the button. A little girl, 6, maybe 7, darted inside, her shoes scuffing against the floor. She wore a sunny yellow dress that looked slightly too small, her hair tied into pigtails that bounced as she moved. In one arm she carried a fraying doll, its button eye hanging loose. Alexander's sharp blue eyes narrowed slightly, more out of surprise than irritation. No one had dared share an elevator with him in years. The girl didn't seem the least bit intimidated. She stood right beside him, staring up with unabashed curiosity. And then, without hesitation, she reached out and slipped her tiny fingers into his hand. Alexander stiffened instantly, unused to such closeness. "What are you doing?" he asked, his voice low and commanding. The girl tilted her head, her pigtails swaying. "Mommy needs a smile," she said softly, as though explaining something obvious. Her eyes sparkled with childlike certainty. "Do you have one you can share?" For the first time in years, Alexander felt caught off guard. Something tugged in his chest, a forgotten ache he couldn't quite name. The elevator hummed as it ascended, its numbers glowing with each passing floor. Alexander stared at the little hand wrapped around his own. It was warm, fragile, and entirely trusting. He cleared his throat, trying to regain composure. "Where's your mother? Does she know you're wandering around like this?" The girl hugged her doll tightly. "She's downstairs. She was nervous. She said she's going to meet the man in the tall office about a job." She looked up at him again, wide-eyed. "That's you, isn't it?" Alexander blinked, momentarily speechless. Employees pitched proposals to him every day, but never had a child spoken his title like it was a fairy tale. "And why?" he asked carefully. "Do you think your mother needs a smile?" The girl wrinkled her nose in thought. "Because when Mommy gets sad, she forgets she's strong, but if someone smiles at her, she remembers. Smiles are like magic spells." She leaned closer and whispered as if sharing a secret. "I think you need one too." Alexander's throat tightened. He looked away, watching the numbers climb. No one had spoken to him that way in years, not with honesty, not with innocence. He had built a world of walls and contracts, of silence and steel. Yet here was a child, dismantling it with nothing more than a doll, a soft hand, and a few simple words. For the first time in longer than he could remember, Alexander Gray wondered if a smile really could change something.